It's time that we have an honest conversation about taxes. Specifically today, we're going to talk about payroll taxes, how they actually screw the employee more than it even screws the business owner. So before we get into the whole topic of payroll taxes and how it actually screws employees all over America, there's probably a lot of you, if you're like myself, I had no idea really what payroll taxes were until I was getting ready to get in the process of hiring my first employee. And payroll taxes to some degree are going to vary, I believe, state to state. I know roughly in terms of a percentage, it comes out to roughly give or take about 8.5% for me here in Texas. But again, that's not even like a set in stone number. I know sometimes it can be a little less or sometimes even a little bit more. So I definitely suggest you guys dive into your own state, before you hire an employee. Usually your state will have their own like spreadsheet that's like a calculator that'll let you know how much an employee is going to cost you on top of their wages. So now that you at least have a rough idea in terms of how much you're going to pay in terms of percentages, what even are payroll taxes, what are they for, and why do business owners have to pay them? Long story short, when you're a W-2 employee, you see the tax deductions that come out of your paycheck automatically, right? Like if you make, say, $1,000 on your paycheck, roughly, depending on how you set up your W-4 and all that when you first got hired, you're gonna have roughly for every $1,000 somewhere around like 80 to, heaven forbid, but even as much as like $200 come out of your paycheck. That's going to go to things, of course, like federal income tax. That's going to go to things like Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all these different programs that the government just thinks they're doing us a favor by making us pay into them, which that's a whole nother subject for a whole different video. But what I didn't realize until I not only started my business, but was about a year or two into business, like I say, knew that we're slowly but surely getting to that point where we need to start hiring people, my accountant brought to my attention, payroll taxes. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, doesn't that automatically come out of the employee's paycheck? And they were like, yeah, their part does, but then you also have your part. And what really blew my mind about that was because, of course, we are filing as a S Corp, which that's a whole tax thing. Get with your accountant on that. But pretty much like I pay myself as an employee, and then I have dividends, throughout the year, whatever, that I get that are like tax-free, quote unquote. But I thought like my payroll software, QuickBooks, was, just totally, messing it up, because I was like, hey guys, like I literally have pretty much like double payments coming out for payroll taxes. And they were like, yeah, that's because, you have your payroll taxes on the side of the employee yourself that are coming out automatically, but then you as the employer also have to pay, the other half, so to speak. And I was like, what in the absolute hell are you talking about? So I got a whole lecture from them on how that all works and how it adds up to roughly, I forget, like 16-ish%, something like that. And then, like I said, that depends on your state as well. Those of you that have like state income tax too, you're going to have even more. Now, I know what some of you guys are probably thinking, oh, boohoo, the business owners, got to pay out, 8 to 12, whatever the case may be, percent. Boo, cries a river, you're a business owner, blah, 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 right? Eat the rich, right? But this is where, like me, as what I would consider a good business owner, like looking out for my employees, customers, all this stuff, I started doing the math, especially now that I've had a full-time employee for almost a full year now. I've had another full-time employee. I don't right now. We got rid of her a while back, had a whole video about that already. But after seeing just how much we pay in payroll taxes, I started running some numbers, and I was just pissed at how much money that we're having to give away that we instead could give to the employees. For example, I got just my federal taxes for payroll taxes that QuickBooks shows, from 11/01 to 11/30. So for the month of November only. Keep in mind, I did not pay myself a paycheck in November. So these payroll taxes are for just one employee, one pest control technician. The payroll taxes that'll be coming out on the 15th of December is over $1,423. So again, as a business owner, I'm a math guy, I'm a numbers guy, whatever the case may be. So I start running numbers. I'm like, man, $1,400 a month. I'm like, let's say, that money just went to the employee, right? $1,400 a month times 12 months equals, had to double check with Siri real quick. It comes out to just under $17,000 that, you could pay the employee instead. And I know, like, some of you are probably like, oh, well, if someone has to pay the taxes, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's total BS, but that's a whole different video for probably a whole different audience. But let's say that the government, who knows, maybe gave you an option, like, hey, you can either give this money to your employee or you can pay it in taxes. I think pretty much every single employer, without a doubt, would say, yeah, I'll give it to my employee, no problem, and they're going to get a huge raise. And then, by the way, because you still have the deductions coming out of the employee's paycheck, the government is still going to be collecting some sort of tax on that. So it's not to say that we're just completely getting rid of that tax, but you are getting rid of obviously a very, very, very large percent of that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like, I'm not a communist. I don't believe in like big government telling anybody what to do with their money in the first place. So I don't even like the idea that I came up with in terms of like giving the employer an option like, hey, pay out to your employees or pay the government. Like, I don't like that either. But to me, like, I'm all about solutions and compromise and just thinking about like what's best for the employees, the business, the morale. And let's be real, we can talk about, oh, company culture and this and that, leadership, but at the end of the day, employees want to get paid, right? And what better way than to give them, in this case, $1,400 extra dollars per month? And again, that's just my own 2 cents on it. You know, if our government, I don't know, spent our money a lot wiser, not sending it to multiple countries overseas for just ridiculous, be it wars or, you know, LGBT, LMNOP, different education in the Middle East where they don't care about that crap in the first place. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And when it comes to waste, then maybe I would, you know, not even make this video in the first place. But our government just doesn't do that, unfortunately. So I'm interested to know, let me know down in the comments below, you know, what do you guys think about like my little, not even solution per se. Again, I'm just kind of spitballing different ideas here. Let me know, you know, do you have another potential solution? And I know the chance of this is less than 1%, but if you do happen to be somebody, you know, be it in Congress, whatever the case may be, that can actually pull some strings when it comes to this, at least consider, you know, just totally overhauling this, and not even just like the payroll tax side of it, like same with the employee side of it too. Like, I mean, if we're being completely honest, until the government can get their shit together, I feel like there should be a total pause of any taxes of any kind being paid. But again, I'm going off on a whole other tangent here with that. But like I said, I'm interested to know your feedback, you know, your comments or solutions down below in the comments. If you don't know who I am, of course, my name is Griffin Thomas. I own the company you see right here, Preferred Pest Management in the Dallas, Texas area. We've been in business over 5 years now. And on my channel overall, I just document my overall business journey, personal finance journey. Just, you know, I've been doing it since pretty much I graduated high school, just looking to, you know, give back all the information that I've learned over the years and a little bit of commentary along the way. So if any of that interests you, we got over 1,000 videos here. Feel free to subscribe, hit the bell icon, you know, all that good fun stuff. And I'll make sure to leave some videos or playlists that YouTube actually picks themselves from the channel that they think you would actually enjoy. And I'll see you over there.